Okay, folks, here we go.
Guys, here we go. Let's have a good show.
1B, stand by. Okay,
Yeah.
Yacht,
Yeah,
take it.
take it at midfield.
Take
Just go
it.
right now.
Go to
Camera 3.
Can
3.
you
Go to the gate. Perfect. Just like that.
I'll just go ahead.
Yeah, graphics 2 is going to be up for the first.
Okay.
Go right now. Go to camera 3. Go. Yep. Go to the gate. Perfect. Just like that. No music.
I'm going to hand to Q, Sophie.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
On radio in the Canal Zone.
All right, guys, mic check.
Yeah, go ready.
Okay, Ricky, mic.
Yep, I am ready.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Willie, mic check.
Yep, let's go.
1B, stand by.
10, 9, 8,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and okay, and go for it.
No va a pitar aquí. All right, and we're live. I got to remember to switch that back off, that soccer thing. Although it is cool to listen to that anyway.
Yeah,
but
it is that winning ole for our beloved Panamanian soccer team.
Yeah, which we'll be talking about. But right now, hello everybody. A couple minutes late, I apologize. I had to reboot my system last second, so hopefully everything is running smoothly now. But it is Friday night. It is 8:04 Eastern Time, 5:04 Pacific, and of course 8:04 Canal Zone time. So welcome to the Balboa Yacht Club. Ricky, happy Friday, Mr. Under the Weather.
I know. Sorry, guys. I'm a little sick, so Willie will more than likely be doing all the talking. So Radio Bamba is not going to be too active. Guys, thank you, and welcome for joining us once again on our weekly SCN Canal Zone Happy Hour at the Balboa Yacht Club. This is the podcast, guys, that's all about the Panama Canal, its history, its founders, all the people that worked behind the scenes, its people, a.k.a. Zonians. Guys, let's toast to the eighth wonder of the world and have a great show tonight. Salute.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. And a toast, excuse me.
Mango juice, by the way.
Yes. A toast to my wife. It's her birthday yesterday. My birthday was on Tuesday, too. So happy birthday to me.
To both of you. And we are going to be doing birthdays starting in January, guys. That's coming back.
Yeah, that is definitely on the horizon there again. So stay tuned. But nevertheless, a little bit different show than we had planned. Steve Tochterman was going to join us. Him and along with Jesus were going to join us. But unfortunately, there was a change of plans, last minute change of plans. So they'll be joining us next week. Fortunately, Ricky and I, in good football spirit, are going to call an audible here and make a move here, right?
Yeah, but Willie, we got 4 shows, right? You know, the history show, the wrap up show at the end of the month, and then we have the dictionary show and a guest, right? Those are our 4 shows every month. So we're just kind of switching the third show with the second show.
That's an audible. We just call this play instead. We got to already have it in the bucket there, so it was fortunately easy to do. And
we love dictionary, guys. It's going to be fun tonight.
It is fun. It is a lot of fun. You learn some cool things. A lot of times it's not really, that one's not so much learning as much as it is, I remember that.
Yeah, no, but there's like tonight I got a lot of words that I've never heard of. I mean, not word. Well, there are words, but they're more like statements or sayings.
Sure.
So that's what it really is.
Yeah. I've got a couple of interesting ones.
Cool ones. Yeah, I got some interesting ones.
I have some that it's more along the lines of not necessarily directly the meaning of it, but something around. I won't give it away, but it'll be put a little thought through it and whatnot.
Part of it, man. So and Willie and I do not know which words we have.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So that'll be cool. But nonetheless, that's for later on, of course, and a couple other things that we're going to talk about. Some things that have gone on in like I said, in the past here, and so forth, and then of course give love to our friends at Howler Monkey Sauce here in just a little while. But we do have quite a few announcements to get through. We are in that busy time of the year, a lot of things going on here, so might as well just kick that off with what we normally do for our announcements and our current event stuff here.
SCN Television presents K Pasa. And now here's this evening's host, Army Sergeant Bob Foster.
Good evening and welcome to K Pasa. We've got 2 guests tonight. First Sergeant First Class Jim Webb. Sergeant Webb's with the 227th Military Police Detachment. He's the Kennel Master.
There you go. So that's and who is that again, Ricky?
Iconic. Oh, you know what? That's the Tijuana brass band. And you know, that's funny. I thought that guy was long gone, you know. But next June in San Francisco, he's performing.
Yes.
Albert's. I can't believe it. He's still around. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna go check it out since we always talk about him. Hal Alberts, right? What's his name?
Herb Alpert. I'm looking for it right now because you
Alberts
posted that
and
this morning, and I immediately I was like, oh wait, hold on, is this guy still? Because I thought the same thing. Wow, is this guy still alive?
I mean, my
You know?
dad used to listen to that guy.
Well,
and he was
because-
already old back then.
And you're talking like 60s and 70s.
60s and 70s.
And typically somebody that has their name on the band is not like, 17 or 18 years old.
Right,
So he's kind of already been around, and that's
he's
way back
kicking.
then.
Yeah, he's kicking and he still looks good. You know what? I hate to say, but I think he's in his 70s. He doesn't look like he's in his 80s or 90s.
Well, let's take a look
Yeah, let's
here and
take a
see
look
what
at
your thoughts
our
are
man.
here on what Mr. Herb Alpert, because Alpert with a P, and the Tijuana Brass and other
There you
delights.
go. San Francisco, June 16th. Count me in.
There
I'm going to
you
get my
go.
tickets ASAP.
Yeah.
Where's he playing? Oh, Davis Symphony Hall. Wow. Our Symphony Hall. That is top of the top right there.
That's upscale there, huh?
That is as upscale as you get. Right
Okay.
on, Herb.
Right.
Albert.
And so that's the guy that the tune that you hear in K Pasa, which again, iconic tune that used to, probably at my age, I didn't really pay attention. And K Pasa really was a 5-minute segment, right? You look on those old spillways,
they're all 5 minutes,
it's just local announcements and community things, but you would hear that sound and you recognize the tune. And then of course, later on, all of a sudden that thing comes on the radio one day or somewhere I hear that and immediately I look up, I was like, SCN? Because that was every Wednesday night you had K-Pasa going on.
You know what? Truly, I don't remember it, but I did see that in the years I was growing up, it was there. All right. Well, Willie, you want to say hi to a couple of you?
Yeah,
A couple of
absolutely.
people? We have a lot of comments. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Good
love
call
it,
for
man.
sure.
All right.
Yeah. So Leaf, I think you're still in Panama. Leaf was the first one to post that picture that I saw of the airplane that landed on the causeway yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
Yeah?
I mean,
How about
it's not cool. It was a scary part.
Yeah, but hey, the guy
time
heads
for the
up. He brought it
pilot.
down.
But he brought it down. Like, he's alive.
I have to assume they were probably heading to Albrook. Because that's the approach path is coming right. In fact, that image you see behind us is coming right over that way, from left to right and landing at Albrook. But he came down on the causeway, kind of heading in that direction, it seems. So,
I mean, he did. It did, destroy the airplane, but he's alive.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're landing on the causeway at that point, you're bringing the plane down as best you can. You're not trying to keep it clean. You're just saying get down and survive, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And then you got palm trees on either side now. Of
Right.
The causeway.
Yeah, which is probably where the most of that damage came from. I would assume so. So, yeah. Let's see. We're at it. We're at it, Jim. We were, like I said, a little bit of technical difficulties and rushing through it. And of course, when you want something to go fast, it always slows down. Good to see you, Mike from Orlando. Right on.
Mike.
Well, enjoy your stay in sunny Florida. Right. It was cold as hell here this morning, so wasn't really. Sunny Florida. Yeah, we smooth. And thank you guys. No, thank you. Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Yes, absolutely, Steve. And we're going to have you guys on next week. It's going to be it's a great show. It's with everything going on in the news right now with Venezuela and these boats, these narco boats and everything, these guys have, direct insight on that. They wrote a book on this entire narco trafficking thing. It was more about the air component of it, but it's all the same people. It's like, the U.S., it's Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, whatever. Well, these guys, the narcos, have the same thing. They've got their Navy, apparently, and their Air Force or whatever you want to call it. So anyhow, he'll be joining us next week to talk about this because that's again, it's a great
book too.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we'll definitely tune into that. And it's Chris.
Hey, my best friend. What's up, Chris? Hey, Chris. Sorry I was so mean today, man. But I was just bantering with you guys. You don't get to know me, Chris. That's just the way I am. Sorry, man.
Yeah. There's different ways you can describe Ricky when we get into our political back and forth.
Right, you don't want to get into politics with me, man.
It's kind of annoying.
Love you, Chris, man. I appreciate you very much.
It's good when everybody's on the other team because then it's a pile on Ricky.
Yeah,
that's
guys, we have a chat. There's 17 Zonians on it. 16 Zonians are on the right. 1 is on the left.
It seems like it pretty much, man. But I'll tell you what, you carry the flag well. You're definitely you earned these guys, man. That's
Yeah, right on, guys. I appreciate you guys. I really do.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thinking We Going Places is my favorite album. Yeah, you know what?
Oh,
Honestly,
yeah.
it's cool music. You know, we look back at it and go, "Oh man," but you know, it's they're catchy tunes, right? It's all part of
I mean,
the
our
gig there.
school bands played his music. If you
Whipped
remember,
cream
at the
and
football
other
games and
yes,
stuff.
that's right. You're right, Ricky. They absolutely did because that music wasn't in style then, right? It wasn't, you know, I mean, it was rather relevant here.
Yeah.
My friends had a quite for Albert Bauer. Okay, yeah, right on. See, so it is recognizable. The guy the guy's
like
still
that
going
too.
strong. You
And
know,
he's 90. Wow.
there you go, man.
Well, he's still blowing that trumpet. He's going to be at the Symphony Hall. I mean, guys, that is an amazing place. I mean, that's where the San Francisco Symphony plays. So
Yeah. And that makes sense because then he was about, well, you know, I mean, so he was about, 30, 40 years old, I guess, when we saw that picture there where he was, running the gig there. So,
at least 30, right? Because that's 25.
Listen, this guy flies 767. Listen, he lands planes in zero visibility, man. Okay, so the guy can handle it, man. He used to fly F-15s. Okay, I mean, so
yeah, I know,
you know.
guys. I know.
And Chris, when you get a chance, what was the hairiest situation you ever encountered in your F-15? And did you ever have to, I don't know, what would you call it? Light up another plane? Get him on radar or let him know that you're around or that kind of stuff. That'd be cool to hear about that.
But he's not going to tell us. Yeah.
Well, why not, man? I'm sure it's cool. We'll just redact the names, Chris. Don't worry. You know,
there's a couple of Canal Zone fighter pilots. There's
that
I know of, John Irvin, Will Hall, to name a few.
Yeah, and then PJ Joyce, didn't he fly helicopters?
I think so.
I believe he did.
Or transport planes, I think.
Yeah, maybe, but for some reason I associate him with helicopter. I could be wrong though. Hey, Mark, how's it going, man? Mark and the awesome Christmas song. I saw something the other day, Mark. I meant to forward it to you. I'm going to find it again. A video on another AI tool that's used more so to develop music content or help develop it, as opposed to actually, create it on that sense of it or whatever. But anyway, something interesting you might be interested in. So, Chris, no, you see, you're right, Ricky. He just can't tell us. He probably shot. I saw something the other day that, because again, during the Cold War, a lot of times those things would happen and you're like, listen, we can't talk about it. This is embarrassing, or it could cause an incident. There was a guy during the Korean War, I think it was. No, the Vietnam War, one or the other, but Air Force guy. And he got into a fight. Him and two other planes got into a dogfight with actual Soviet planes and Soviet pilots, which they weren't technically in the war, right? It was hush hush. Mm-hmm. And the two other planes ended up having mechanical difficulties, had to return. He stayed alone against four of these guys and shot them all down. Mm-hmm. And they gave him like a Silver Star, and then they upgraded to like a Navy Cross. Well, now they've passed some kind of resolution to give this guy the Medal of Honor because they couldn't really celebrate it openly because it was against the Soviet Union, and we're denying that we ever fought the Soviets. They're denying they ever fought us, but these things kind of happen. So this poor guy for 50 years, he's just been like, that guy was all right, man. It turns out, damn, dude's a hero, man.
It was true.
Badass. So, but the only thing I ever shot at was a drone. Okay, cool. Right on. Well, I'll have to chat with you about that one day, because that's got to be an amazing experience especially to me, back in the day in the Air Force, to me, the F-15 was the beast of all the fighter planes.
That was the one on Top Gun, right? The F-15?
No, that was the F-14. That had the swing wings. The F-15 had the interesting thing about the F-15 up until just recently, they took one of those aircraft and they completely stripped it down for a comparison or whatever, a statistic, and it went from 0 altitude to 30,000 feet faster than the Apollo 11 moon rocket.
Wow.
That was just flying up. So cool aircraft to fly. Imagine Chris has got some amazing stories about that. But we've got amazing stories about the Canal Zone here, which is what we're going to be talking about, So
and Panama. We always cover Panama.
Panama Canal Zone and of course Zonians. And speaking of Zonians, guys, there's somebody that's a Zonian that left the zone before we graduated. Part of my class of 86, but left the zone before we graduated. And hold on, let me just pull something up here. Anyhow, she's living here in the States now, in Florida, and she's got some big health issues going on and whatnot. And so there's a GoFundMe posted for her. Let me go ahead and share this screen real quick, and bear with me, guys. Share this one. There it is. And put that up there. So Barb Carlin used to live in La Boca. You know, a great girl. She's just an amazing person. Well, she's
a beautiful family too.
Yeah, just an absolutely great family. Well, anyhow, they're you know, there's some health issues that they're battling there. So, you know, they have a GoFundMe set up. I threw the link in the chat. I apologize. It's a really long link. I just copied it there, but it should pop into the chat there. There it is. Anyhow, though, you know, if you can help out, by all means, you know, step in and help out. It's a great Zonian that's just asking for a little help to get their bills paid. And, you know, we're in that giving mood right now, being the holidays, and here's somebody that actually needs something. So, you know, make sure if you can step in, and every little amount helps. You know, this isn't about who can do the most, or, you know, don't be embarrassed if it's $10, it's $10, but every amount helps out, and, you know, help this girl. She's a great girl, and a great Zonian from a great Zonian family, like Ricky said. So make sure you just keep that in mind. So, you know, prayers for you, Barb, and hope you get better soon.
Yeah, you get better soon. That's Mel's sister.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that are my age.
Yeah.
Mel Carlin.
So, now another interesting things going on here on a lighter note, and just interesting happenings. You know, last week we talked about the World Cup, right? And the World Cup draw and everything involved there. And it was not the best draw, as we figured out, for Panama. They got a brutal group, but in further analysis, you know, things are not as bad as they seem, in all honesty.
Ghana doesn't seem like they got a chance to even tie us.
Ghana is not
70th.
Yeah, they're
30th.
Correct. That's exactly right. You know, we're looking at the World Cup from Panama, team that's never made it there. Panama 6-1, you know, against England last World Cup, but that was their first time there. It's been 4 years. It's a different team. They've evolved. They've grown. You know, I'm not going to say they're World Cup contenders by any stretch, but it is a different team, and that group has a lot of fame on paper. It has a lot of history, but with the exception of England, which is, you know, a soccer machine like most of the other big countries, every 4 years you respect a team like that. But Croatia is a very old team. They've lost a lot of their great players, and the ones they have left are not 40. The youngest players. Yes, you know, Ghana, like Ricky said, Ghana's ranked 70th for a reason. They had a strong qualifier, but they're a young team. They've lost a lot of key players recently. Their captain, who was there for many years, you know, one of their superstars as far as scoring goes. You know, they're still a young, undisciplined team. Like I said last week, they get a lot of yellow cards, right? Discipline is a rough thing, and in the dark arts of soccer, if Panama can play their cards right, you can put those guys out of the game quick, because it sounds like you can get into their heads quickly, and that just benefits you if you know what you're doing. To you know, a couple yellow cards, a red card here, and it's a whole different game now, right? So I'm liking Panama's chances. I'm liking, you know, certainly not to win the group. There's, you know, I mean, it would take a collapse of England.
Winning one game would be huge for us.
Well, winning a game and a win and a tie may get you that second place out of the group there. So, hey, Vern, yes, man, stay warm up there, brother. Absolutely. Listen, that place is cold starting in October, man. It doesn't end till like March or April.
Wisconsin,
yeah, man, that's brutal, man. But, you know, Vern does some wonderful things up there, you know, with the scouts and everything else. He's a great guy, and of course, he joins us here to do some Atlantic side stuff all the time, which is going to be fun. Vern, I talked to my dad and reached out to Dale for a January show to get these guys on to talk about the Sturgis. Really looking forward to that. Also, Jim Bradley is going to be joining us. Yes. He was actually in charge of connecting the power to that ship to the Gatun power station. And also let me know, this was interesting. We were talking about it the other day, him and I. And he lectured me about me not having voicemail. But anyhow, on the Pacific side, there was also a power station on the water by the dry docks. It wasn't a nuclear one, though. It was diesel powered. But they did have so that was a thing in the canal to supplement power, because again, you were subject to Mother Nature, and if you really had a long drawn out dry season, that impacted the level. And all our power was generated from dams, which had to dump that water. And if your water level is too low, they couldn't go below a certain level, or the canal can't operate. So, you know, there was a balance there, and so they supplemented it with, you know, as we learned, the Sturgis on Gatun, they're parked right next to the Gatun Dam. and then now I've found out that we had one on the Pacific side as well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it makes
so
sense to be next to the dam because they can just connect quickly to the dams.
exactly, and you have a main power source leaving there, so that's it totally makes sense to connect right there. So that's going to be an interesting story. I saw something else. Talk about interesting stories, Ricky. I saw on Facebook, and I was just clicking around and came across an image. And so if anybody can help me out with this, some of you classes of the 70s classes and whatnot, a gentleman by the name of Lance Wiskowski. Okay.
I know his sister, Tara.
Okay. So I sent him a message, and of course, some people aren't on Facebook all the time as like others are, but he posted a lot of pictures that he worked like on the dredges and stuff. So he was, big Zonian that went, from being a Zonian to then work on the Panama Canal, like Jim Duffus and a couple others have done here. And so it'd be a really cool story talking about dredging and stuff, because that obviously is everything to do with the canal and so forth. So so if anybody knows and a way to get a hold of him, let him know that I'd love to chat with him. And I think it'd be a great story to talk about, with to learn that other part of the canal is
the dredging.
keeping that channel open, because that was
because our dredging systems and equipment was like best in the world for many
it had
years.
to be. Look at what happened just a few years ago at the Suez Canal. That one big ship blocked the channel, and that impacted, global pricing worldwide, simply because you had a waterway that is so busy was suddenly blocked. And the same thing as the Panama Canal. If somehow that thing suddenly is blocked, you have major turmoil around the world. So those guys that did the dredging, they absolutely played a big role. And I imagine come rainy season, man, is when they probably started drilling and getting ready, because, hey, this is when the landslides start. We're going to have all that washed
Williams also worked on the dredging.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Always
Yeah.
Big brother. Yeah.
So that would be pretty cool. But anyhow, yeah. So again, guys, as far as World Cup coverage, we are looking to put a group together to go. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. We digress here. We're really, we are so ADHD here, man. Squirrel. We just take off. But World Cup.
It is the segment to talk like this, though. We are in that segment.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. That's true. So anyway, so this is the group that Panama has, and they're placed on the bottom here, maybe by assumptions, right? Because based on rankings, Panama's 30th in the world. Not in the World Cup groups, but in the world. So, they're definitely ahead of Ghana. I believe they are ahead of Croatia. If not, they're just right behind them. Of course, England's, I think, 5th or 6th in the world. So that's
fourth.
Yeah.
Croatia actually has got a good ranking. If I recall correctly, they were like 12th.
Okay, I think that sounds about right. Listen, they have pedigree. They have even their younger players that aren't capped that many times. They're still playing in some of the top leagues in Europe. So it's Are they the Croatia of 4 and 8 years ago that have won European tournaments and a World Cup? No, they're not. But are they still a powerhouse? Absolutely. That's a game that I could see as a draw, and they could absolutely play for a draw there. Try and beat Ghana, and then just you're playing England last, and so the hopes is that England has now qualified to move on. They want to rest their players. And so they may be willing to give up a draw there because it doesn't matter. It doesn't impact them one way or the other. And so that's best case scenario. Come off of a win with Ghana, a draw with Croatia. You get 2 draws out of that group. 5 points is, in my opinion, is enough to get to get through. At that point, it comes to goal difference, and Panama can score some goals, as we've seen. They've put up quite a number of goals there. So. Yeah. But more to come on that. We're going to start this weekend a World Cup weekly show that's going to focus just on the World Cup once a week. Learn about what's going on with Panama's team, even for those folks that want to follow but maybe aren't up to speed with soccer. A little bit of learn a couple of things here, so that when you're watching a game and somebody tells you about that guy, he plays a pivot role. You know what they're talking about, and all those things. So it should be a lot of fun. But that's it's looking good for Panama. I like my chances. Their manager came out the other day and said, he goes, I want to be competitive this World Cup. We're not going to go in there with these this googly eyed that look, we're amongst all these superstars and stuff. We're here. We earned our spot here. We won our group. We won it convincingly. We're the only Central American country representing. He even went as far as said, listen, I love coaching for Panama so much. The country is great. The fans are amazing. My wife and I are talking about maybe becoming Panamanian citizens, which is amazing for a guy that's got that European pedigree to to really have bought into Panama, and you could see the emotion on him when they won the game, against El Salvador. He was in tears, man. He mission accomplished for him, right? Get this team to where it needed to be, and so fingers crossed it'll continue, and good luck to this guy, man, because I'm excited for it. But
Yeah.
so here's the key to this, okay? I know I keep trying to draw this out, but the on Friday was the draw. So we figured out what groups they were in. And the next piece was on Saturday. Where are they going to play, right? Because the World Cup is in 3 countries. It's in Mexico, United States, and Canada. A couple interesting things there. Mexico City will host the opening game. They're the only city in the history of the World Cup to have hosted 3 opening games, because they got one in the 60s, a World Cup. And then in 1986, Colombia had the World Cup. But with all the terrorism and the narco stuff with Escobar, remember they'd blown up an airplane, all that stuff going on. FIFA's like, I don't think so, man. So in an unprecedented move, a year before the World Cup, they're like, hey, Mexico, guess what? You get the World Cup, man. You got a year to get ready for it. And so Mexico ended up getting a World Cup just by sheer luck. But so they've now hosted, with this one will be their 3rd one. So that's kind of cool for them. But anyhow, Panama got games in Toronto, Canada, and in New York, New Jersey, which is Meadowlands, where the Giants and the Jets play. So they're going to be playing 2 games in Canada, the 17th of June and the 23rd of June. And then 4 days later, they're down in New York, New Jersey, the 27th of June, to play their 3rd game, which that's the game against England. Hopefully, like I said, by then, England's like, listen, we've qualified. We can't, nothing happens, win or lose here. We got to rest our stars. And Panama suddenly can at least, maybe get a draw out of that game,
Yeah. Well, England, it's really strange that England has absolutely nothing to do with the Panama Canal. They don't have any big companies there that we know of. They don't invest in our infrastructure. None of that.
Yeah.
That's kind of strange, And
it is.
with the Spaniards. The Spaniards also have very little to do with the Panama Canal.
And that one's really interesting because, of course, Spain having really, the Western version of Panama was created by Spain, right? I mean, they colonized that and they created that as a major trading post and everything. And then, of course, 300-400 years later, we came in and built a canal. But that was Spain's crown jewel in the Americas, was Panama and the Panama, that region, and because of its strategic location. And yet, you're right. I mean, there's not a lot. I know there is, like I said, there is a kid that's playing in the 2nd or 3rd division in Spain from Panama. He's pretty good, but I don't think he's at that level yet. But to your point, yeah, there's not really any kind of association or anything
that we
there,
know of. Maybe there is like in telecommunications or something, but other than
and then
that,
England has now faced Panama. If this could be the 2nd World Cup that England faces Panama, so
that's right.
maybe this time they'll feel bad and be like, let's not beat him up again, man.
Well, this is one thing we can beat England in, and guys, that's expat communities. The list just came out.
Okay.
Panama being the best expat country right now because of the amount of people moving there. And they came out with the seven best places to expat to. Leading the charge, of course, was Boquete. We all know why. Beautiful coffee, beautiful weather, flowers, fresh food, you name it. Yeah. That is full of expat. Second, it got me by surprise on the list, El Cangrejo, which is in downtown Panama. My mom lives in El Cangrejo, right there by El Episcopal, if you guys remember. Mm-hmm. I don't know Panama very well because I never lived in Panama, but she lives right there by a park close to Episcopal. But El Cangrejo, number 2. Number 3, Coronado, which I thought would be number 1, but they're number 3. Right. Number 4, El Valle. Again, we would expect that. The next 3 are surprising. Chitre, and that's like an up-and-coming city. Right. A lot of stuff going on in Chitre. Pedací, because that's where Jerry has his place. And we know there's great art galleries there, great coffee houses, restaurants.
That's an underrated place, Pedací. It's never if you think of places to go and visit in Panama in the interior, even back in the day, Pedací was one of those that, few people knew about, and you either knew somebody from there or you didn't, never even heard about it.
Well, now you want to be. That's the place to be. And there has all kinds of surf academies there. And then last but not least, Santa Catalina, which we all know is a big surf spot. but they apparently have built it up. The Hanna family they got some big investments.
Oh, right on.
there. Yeah. Zonian fan is Hanna. So those are the 7 best spots to retire.
Okay.
Again, Boquete, El Cangrejo, Coronado, El Valle, Chitre, Pedací, and Santa Catalina.
How about that?
So I guess we'll be seeing you guys out there at one point. I think I would do El Cangrejo. I like El Cangrejo. Great restaurants.
It was exactly. It was a very eclectic place, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
A lot of sidewalks, new sidewalks. It's a nice place, guys.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, man.
Right, and then of course the Latin America 50 best restaurant list came out last year. We told you about Panama made 3 of their restaurants made the list.
Yeah.
This year 6
Saw that.
restaurants made the list. Yes, Panama's becoming the go-to spot in Latin America for food.
How about that? Huh?
Again, making the list was Maito, a Japanese place, and Cantina del Tigre, which gets the highest, and La Tapa del Coco. Those 3 were last year, and they all made it this year again. And then the newcomers, Umi, UMI,
Okay.
Fonda de lo que hay, and that's apparently like cheaper Panamanian food, but totally prepared in a way that they would win in top 50 best restaurants.
Sure.
And the 6th one's called Caleta. Next
Okay.
week we'll give you guys all the addresses and how to get there, because I know the reunion's coming up. And if you guys want to, eat fine dining in Panama, here are the 6 best restaurants in the top 50 of Latin America.
Right.
Maito for Japanese.
Okay.
Cantina del Tigre. La Tapa del Coco. Umi. Fonda lo que hay. Fonda means
Fonda.
like, yeah, what does fonda mean? I know they use that a lot. Is that like bistro?
It's sort of, kind of. I mean, it's. I think depending on the term because I think it's had a change in its term now. But let me see here.
It's like home cooked food, I imagine. And then caleta.
Yeah, it says several meanings here. Traditional eatery in Spanish-speaking countries, or in it's a surname in Dutch countries, which I don't know what the hell Dutch would be here, but also a foundation or a valley. So I think to your point, in Spanish countries, it's traditional eatery or kind of thing.
Got you. Like the clubhouse would be our fonda, the Canal Zone fonda.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah,
that would make sense.
Right, and then for all you Zonians out there and everybody, Shorty and Slim has a new album out, new release called Zeezeum. And I like that name, like Canal Zone Museum, Zeezeum, because excuse me, like Alex said, the former Canal Zone, says let's be proper, is a live museum.
Yes.
With all our buildings and bunkers and all the military stuff there, and and like bases.
No, it makes sense. It does make sense, So now going back to your restaurant thing there, great question by Pat Schulte that Naps didn't make the list. Man, what's up with that?
Naps is number 1 in the Canal Zone.
Yeah.
Naps is all by itself. They don't even go on the list.
In fact, you named the award after Naps. It's the Napoli Panama Eatery Award.
Right. Yeah, Naps. Naps is that's God's food there, guys. All right, out of the embassy, guys. A few quick updates out of the embassy. Remember, like a couple of weeks ago, we talked about how Southern Command was sending doctors down to start, for them to train in the ERs, the what do you call those? Like when there's accidents and stuff like that.
Triage and stuff and trauma.
The trauma.
Yeah.
And so they were doing 300 operations in Arraijan, the hospital out there on the west.
Wow, that's impressive.
300. So it went so well. Panama received it quite well. Everybody worked in conjunction.
Yeah.
Now they bumped it up to 1,000 operations, and they're moving over to San Miguelito. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
And they're I'm getting sicker and sick.
It's that talking.
They're moving over to San Miguelito to continue this program that the embassy is behind with the Southern Command, and they're really doing it. And I love our American ambassador in Panama.
Yeah, they seem to do well, man.
They've a really, really
I've seen that.
job.
That absolutely is, man. That's
another thing the embassy is doing is bringing a lot of water to the far out reaches of Panama, especially Las Comarcas.
Right.
You guys remember one of the things that when we had that guy from San Blas talking to us, he mentioned that water was a big problem there.
Right.
Getting water out to everybody.
All right. So real quick, while you get yourself a sip of water yourself, speaking of water, here's a drink. In the meantime, John Catanzaro is throwing in there that fondas are open air kitchens set up on construction job sites and carnivals by moms and abuelas. Cheap traditional PTY home cooking, sometimes cooked on open fire. Yeah, indeed. Right?
John Catanzaro, man, he is AI all by himself, man. Right on, John. Thanks. That is what a fonda is, guys. So.
But it is. It's traditional food. It's I think you could probably throw in the term rustic would probably fit, and whatnot. But it is traditional, I guess, to that area, and typically it's in Spanish. So there probably isn't an English equivalent. But the best thing is like a home cooked meal, I guess, in a sense. Home cooked meal,
yeah. If anybody out there knows what it is, let us know.
Yeah.
Also, all you soccer fans, the U.S. Embassy is going to be giving preferential status to Panama. Yeah. So you guys going up there, you probably won't have to be submitting all those 5 years of stuff and all that craziness.
Yeah. Well, stay tuned for that, guys, because we have that Zonians to the World Cup group, and there's quite a few people that join that group, and several of them have messaged me going, "Hey, are you putting together a group or a trip?" Which I kind of am. I'm gonna reach out to somebody and see what we can do to work something out there, but. I wouldn't mind doing ideally about 12 days, 12 or 13 days, almost 2 weeks, go out maybe the 16th up to Toronto, hang out there for, almost a week. Right. And, and then after their game there, head down to New York, New Jersey, spend a few days there. And then the day after the game, the 28th or so, maybe come back to wherever people are at. So
I would say New Jersey. If I go, I'll go to the New Jersey one.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind making the whole trip and watching. Now, as far as going to the games, because that's two different things here, guys. Keep this in mind. First and foremost, which is a little sidetrack, and again, squirrel, going to digress here, but there's a huge controversy. FIFA just released the price of the finals, right? And of course, Panama's not going to make it to the finals. We know that. But right now, the cheapest ticket from FIFA for the finals, the nosebleed seats, $3,000.
Well, people go. It'll be
not for this one. That's what they're concerned with. That unless it is a blockbuster final, if you happen to have, remember Morocco made it to the semifinals last World Cup.
Yeah.
Had they up
Curacao against Haiti?
Well, not Curacao necessarily, but even like I said, even a Morocco, right? A Tunisia, a Croatia, let's just say, that they're not a big followed team around the world. You get one of those guys in the finals, you're going to see empty seats in that stadium at $3,000 a ticket, and that's the cheapest seats.
Wow!
So it's an outrage. But I've seen seats for the game in Toronto against Ghana for about around the end zone area for about $400, $450. The England and the Croatia games obviously are higher priced because you're going to have a lot more people from Europe traveling, and they're on the East Coast. So those people in Europe, it's not much further for them than it is for, English fans to go to Toronto than it is for us to go to Toronto from Florida, for example. So those games are in the $700 range. But think about, Super Bowl. If you follow your team to the Super Bowl, you're not going to the game necessarily, but you go to that city and you spend a week there partying with all their fans and all the activities and stuff. And that's what, FIFA does put on, a Super Bowl and then some, as far as their events and their fan zones and stuff. So even that, to go with a bunch of Zonians and a bunch of Panamanians to watch those games,
a lot of fun.
Oh, I think it would be a blast, dude.
I think it'll be a blast.
Absolute blast.
Last on the United States Embassy's news, just like in the Canal Zone, how we would send every year 2 students to all the military academies and to Kings Point. Well, the embassy is going to start that all over again, but instead of sending Zonians, they're going to send Panamanians. 2 to the Army, 2 to the Navy, 2 to the Air Force, 2 to Kings Point, like that. So that's a very good thing coming out of the M's. Like I said, the embassy in United States and Panama, man, we are just a brotherhood, guys. And anybody that tells you differently is
well. I don't know if I hope I'm not going to step on your toes. And so if so, I'll step off real quick. But there was an exercise in Panama involving the military with the SEALs, right? And the embassy.
and the Panama Senate front, to do how to protect the embassy.
Correct, a joint exercise in the event of an issue where they have to retake it or protect it or something like that.
Something like that,
you know, the cooperation between the Panama and the U.S. is always remained strong in spite of a rough 20 or so years until recently, but it's certainly getting strong again now. So that's always good news for all of us.
All right. So some more news of Panama. Governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, who's been on the news a lot, was just in Panama meeting with the Canal Zone people for ACP, for logistics infrastructure, because their port in Savannah. That's one of the largest in the world.
Well, they've in the last 10 years, they've done some massive upgrades there. They ended up digging out the channel for Panamax ships, correct? Because they couldn't get them in before that. You're absolutely right.
for what we're all about. So that's what's going on, guys. That is our update on the news.
That's cool.
Canal Zone reunion, guys. It's coming up. And if you know, they have a website. And if you go to the website, if you go to their page on Instagram, my little sister has she'll guide you through it. She has they'll tell you how to go through their web page. But it's up. It's easy to the guide to go through, to navigate. That's the correct word. You basically press on the date you want to see what events are happening, and it'll pop up. A menu list will pop up. You can purchase tickets. It'll give you instructions on how to get there, etc. Now, remember, like Willie always tells us, the Canal Zone reunion is an event type reunion. Whereas Orlando, we're all in one place and we all just get along there. Well, this one is a little bit different. This one's all events that you all go to. And then at some point, you can come to the hotel and hang out. But it's all about events. And speaking of Zonians and events, Canal Zone documentary. One of our good friends has a new post out, and he's talking about Canal Zone participation in Panamanian carnivals. So from the 20s, since the 20s, the Canal Zone always had floats and queens that participated in carnivals. So Canal Zone documentary, guys, go out there, check him out, see what he's all about. He's put together as much. He's trying to get as much information from the Zonians through his Instagram and Facebook accounts so that he can do this documentary. So make sure you visit him, write down whatever you can, give him as much info. Just think of him as an AI machine. He's just collecting information so that we can put out a good documentary.
Yep. Thane Wheeler with Canal Zone documentary. He's been on the show a couple of times, and definitely reach out to him. And he'd love to hear your stories, guys. And he's got a lot of, and he's got experience doing this kind of stuff. So he'll put together a great documentary. So definitely check it out. And then on the bottom, as you can see, they're scrolling is canalzonereunion.com. That's the website where you can get all the information there. But like Ricky said, you have to have tickets for these things. So if you wanted that, a lot of them are already sold out. I think they just recently added another bay cruise or something because the other ones had sold out.
I saw a few new things.
So check them out, but you gotta get tickets, guys. Don't show up there and then be all irritated that you can't get on when it's full. It's full. These guys, and they're working their butts off all year long to put together an amazing reunion. All we hear from the previous 2 years, at least, that we've really been following it a lot, is, man, what a blast. What an amazing experience to go do all these things, to go and check these places out. Even the Chiva Parrandera, it's at night, you're having a good time, but you're still cruising around the zone. You're that bay cruise, the canal transit, the Panama Canal Railroad, the golf tournament. I know that's still
fishing. They also got fishing.
They have a fishing tournament, a golf tournament. So make sure you sign up for that stuff, guys. There's a lot of cool things these guys are putting on. It's a lot of good things. Quite a show, And then of course the graduating classes, class of '86. Make sure you go on the Facebook page and sign up there as well. Make sure you get registered.
A big appearance as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Indeed they are, so definitely check them out. But again, guys, get signed up. Don't just show up like a typical Zonian and, hey, I'm here. Okay, well, goodbye as they drive off.
Really, one of the things I'm doing my notes for, what we're going to talk about, I saw this psychiatric news.
Okay.
And so these psychiatrists have recognized a new personality disorder. The reason why I'm talking about it is because this sounds like Zonians. And the new name that they came up with is called Otroverts, not extroverts or introverts. Otroverts. And what is an ultravert? This is why the connection with the Zonians. First of all, they had to come up with this because they found out that 38% of the people are neither extroverts or introverts. 38.
Okay.
So that's why they came up with ultraverts. So what's an ultravert? People that are often highly adaptable, emotionally aware, and socially intelligent. Total Zonians right there.
Sounds
They
like a
can
plan.
recharge alone and also thrive in social settings.
Yeah, right on.
Zonians.
Yeah, man. No
They
doubt.
tend to build stronger relationships and navigate life with more flexibility. If
There
that's
you
not a
go.
Zonian, definition of a Zonian, I don't know what
Yeah,
is.
right. No doubt.
So there
That's
you go,
interesting.
guys. The psychiatric world has identified us as introverts.
Yeah, right on, right on. So Chris is asking, am I going to the reunion? I'm planning on it, but it's still in the air. You know, there may be one of these. Okay, I got to pick from one or the other. It's the Canal Zone reunion in Panama, or the World Cup in Toronto and New York, and that's a tough call, man. You know, I mean, the reunion happens all the time, right? I can always go to another one of those. Now, granted, this is our 40th for my graduating class, but then again, we have one, you know, in July here. And Panama, there's no guarantee that they'll be in the next World Cup because the last one they were in was in 2018, right? It wasn't in 2020 or 2022.
We got a bunch of good 18-year-olds coming up.
We do, but what I'm saying is that's not as sure a thing. And plus, in the 2018 one, I would love to have gone to that one, but it was all the way in Russia, man. That was a big expense to travel and stay all the way there. I mean, this one, everything is really lining up nice. You know, Florida to Toronto is not a difficult trip. It's not an expensive trip. And New York down to Florida to return is not an expensive trip. And hell, that flight Toronto to New York is, I looked it up, the pricing, you know, it's not going to be much more than a plane ticket to Panama, in all honesty, you know, round trip. So I don't know. I'm not sure, Chris. It's still up in the air because I do love soccer. I love Panama soccer, and this is a big, big deal, the World Cup. So we'll see. I did listen the other day, Tampa Airport. I follow them on Facebook, and they have some. The Facebook social media guy at Tampa Airport is hilarious. He's really funny, posts a lot of funny things all the time. So I engage quite a bit with them. And the other day they put out an ad that they're running a sweepstakes with Copa Airlines to give away 2 round trip tickets to Panama. So I was like, well, what the hell? If I get those tickets, then, you know, if I avoid that expense, then more than likely I would go because, you know, staying in Panama is not expensive. Fortunately, that's the one cool thing that people always say when they go to that reunion. You go down there, you're like, oh my God, there's still Panama prices on hotels and stuff. So
yes, and something else that I'll remind everybody that we have mentioned before in the past. Go into Panama's tourism, whatever it's called, tourism
the website
industry or tourism.
The tourism authority.
Yeah, and get your $500 digital coupon.
Yes,
for hotels and restaurants.
Yep, absolutely, guys. Take advantage of it. It's free, and that's a big savings on some good eating, some good shopping, and all that good stuff. So definitely take advantage of that because it's a program they have. It's designed because Panama has, you know, Copa Airlines has done an incredible job as far as becoming the big prominent airline in Latin America. I mean, they're just massive, and Panama is situated perfectly as obviously the canal and everything else goes, but you know, it's the one place that you can get from anywhere in Latin America, Caribbean, North America,
it's definitely the hub. Yep.
With one stop in Panama. So what they found is that they're moving a ton of passengers, but they're not staying in Panama. They're all stopping in there and they're just switching planes there. So the government said, hey, let's do this, man. Let's throw out $500 to get you to stay 3 days. If you stay for 3 days in Panama, you get a $500, you know, coupon book. So
3 to 4 days. Yeah, $500 coupon. It's on
great
the
deal,
Tourism
guys.
Authority.
Yes.
Turismo. Just put Turismo Panama. I'm sure it'll come up. Because I don't think it's called Tourism Authority. It might be, but shucks, I'm sorry.
It used to be the IPAT. I don't know what it is now, but it used to be IPAT. You know, Instituto Panameño del Turismo. But if you type in Panama tourism coupon book in Google, you'll come across the site. It'll be that easy to find it. So I look at Pat.
Introvert, right in the middle of extrovert, introvert. You're right in the middle. 38% people do not identify with either extro or intro. So that's why they came up with a new one.
What Pat? What was that
that's
car
the
you
Zonians.
drove?
We drive in both lanes. That's what I'm saying. That is the total Zonian.
Pat had that
definition.
orange car. What was that car he had? The something 3000. God, I forget what that was. He'll throw it in here in a second, but that was I'll never forget. And Pat probably doesn't want me to throw this one out there, but it's a funny story. I think I've told it before. We were driving down Gaylord Highway in his dad's car, and his big, I don't know what it was, man, but some big Ford.
Impala.
It was big, man, whatever it was, but we're both messing with the radio, man, and he looks up and a car had just pulled out of it used to be the commissary in Corozal there, right before Albrook. And he swerves to avoid it, man, and we went off the road and hit one of those concrete lampposts, man. That thing crashed down on top of us. I had to go walk to Los Rios Elementary to go tell his dad, hey, Pat just totaled the car, man. But,
a lot of us have similar stories,
man.
so don't even worry about that one.
That was hilarious. Good old days, right?
Good old days, Willie. All right, what else we got for hellos before we move on? Because Willie, man, I'm coming down hard, brother.
I know. No, that's pretty much it. But speaking of good old days, I got a couple things that we want to reminisce about that talk about the rental car. Well, that's for another day. The rental car. Yeah, I had a rental car for a weekend, and I ended up keeping it for 6 weeks. And yeah, that was not a good story. These people, that car had been reported stolen. I'm just driving around, just having a good time, man. And I just didn't turn the car back in. And we went to the beach. Remember, you go through the checkpoint in Arraijan or whatever, and everyone, when we got to the beach, I forget whose house we were all staying at, but when we got there, everyone was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you made it." And we're like, "Why?" Dude, they were stopping every car and checking them. They didn't stop us. And that's probably the car they were looking for.
There. Only thing you got to do is you got to put on your shirt, because if you didn't have a shirt on,
yes,
they pull you over.
Don't give them a reason. That's all it was.
Yeah. Same with the causeway. You couldn't go through that causeway Garita without a shirt.
Right. You're going out to the causeway to the beach, man. But that was so. But anyway, yeah, that was pretty interesting. We need more beers for that. So yes, we do. We definitely will have a few more beers on that one. That'll be for the Owl Show whenever we throw that one on.
That's the best thing about reunions. It's all the storytelling that we do, man, when we go.
I've always said the one word that is more common than any other word spoken at the reunion is remember. Oh, yeah. Hey, do you remember? You run into somebody. Hey, do you remember? And it's nonstop, man. It's one memory after another. So anyhow, speaking of Canal Zone and history and whatnot, a couple interesting things that it went on at this time way back in the day. We'll go through that here, and then we'll again give some love to our Howler Monkey folks, and then we'll do some Canal Zone dictionary, because there's a couple interesting words and stuff I want to throw out there.
I got some good ones tonight.
Yeah.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Yeah. It's gonna be
seis.
No. It's gonna be very interesting. Let me look at something here. Where is it? I had something up here anyway. But anyway, all right. So, couple interesting things that happened in 1908 on December 12th. On this day in 1908, building the Panama Canal, I read this the other day, was the most dangerous construction site in the history of the world. That more people lost their lives and more accidents in a construction site than anywhere else in the world was the Panama Canal construction.
Yeah, no, it was known a place that if you go there, you go to the die.
Right. And this is notwithstanding what, talking about with the French and the yellow fever and all that. We're just talking about just construction accidents.
That's one of the reasons why there wasn't so many Panamanian workers, because they had already the experience from the French and how many people died. So they were like, we'll just handle all the periphery business.
I'm good. I'll just sell you Guandu.
That's what I'll do. Exactly. The Panamanians knew better than to go.
Yeah, they're like staying the hell out of that one, man. But no. So in 1908, on December 12th, they had an accident, an explosion, actually. 21 tons of dynamite exploded. And it killed, which surprisingly, with that much of an explosion, it killed, I think at the final count of dead, I think was 26 dead, 49 injured. But it was a really big deal, as you can see. Obviously, the equipment losses and everything else involved there. But anyhow, that was humongous. They initially said they thought it had something to do with some kind of acidity with water that contaminated the explosives and made them very volatile or something. Mm-hmm. But they never really found out whatever happened there. So that was kind of a horrible thing. And then let's move to 1996. Interesting pictures here. the picture on the right that you see there, that's somebody, that's obviously people complaining about the nastiness there. The left place is there. This is Cárcel Modelo, was in
Oh.
Chorrillo. Okay.
We all remember that.
So that's a
never went
place
there.
you did not want to go there. Let me tell you what,
didn't go
man.
there.
If your parents got a phone call from Mr. DeLuca or Mr. Tuñón or a couple of the other ones that were those they're the ones that had to go down there and handle the.
Yeah, you're right. Luca, Tuñón, you're absolutely right about that.
Right, they were the Panamanian cops, so they went there and they dealt with them, and it would get you out of there. But so this is in 1996. What happened was they had a riot in the prison, and the Panamanian authorities dealt with it as they normally dealt with these things, which we all know from seeing things and all the urban legends, I guess you could call them. But there was somebody in the building across the way that was filming it all, and they were just beating these people, just severe beatings, and making them walk out nude, and just awful conditions. And this was in June of '96. So this led to a lot of investigations. A lot of journalists started looking into Modelo and everything. And so fast forward then to December of 1996. And as you can see, it's a video playing, but I didn't want to load up the video here because it pisses off the machine here. But they demolished Modelo. So this was a notorious place when Noriega took power, and when they had that coup that almost succeeded. They had some of the guys in there, and just a lot of awful things went on in that place. So there's probably a lot of Panamanians that were quite happy to see that place get destroyed. So that was in 1996. Then
riddance.
In 2010, the bridge you see there, the Centenario Bridge, that's the one that's past Pedro Miguel Locks. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's out in that area right before the Culebra Cut, in that area there. So that bridge in 2010, they had really, really awful rains. And you can see on the lower right side, a big portion of it washed out. And I mean, that's a big piece of that, which that bridge carried a lot of traffic as well. So that was kind of a big deal, kind of goes hand in hand with the whole Panama Canal excavation and what we saw earlier, those accidents in that area, that it was notorious for landslides. The type of dirt and material there is conducive to landslides, unfortunately. So even here, 100 plus years later, you still have stuff sliding off along the canal there and stuff. So it's just kind of interesting how that played out there. But so that was just some interesting stuff that went on, back in the day in the canal zone and whatnot. I thought that would be, kind of interesting and fun, fun to share. But and then the last thing, real quick, I wanted to. It's okay. I'm not going to waste my time on it now. But there was a really cool article in Facebook the other day about the islands in the causeway, the Amador Causeway, from Panama Vieja Escuela. And those guys are great. If you're not familiar with them, check them out. It's Panama Old School. They have a lot of YouTube videos, very educational. And nowadays, YouTube with the whole AI thing, a lot of times I've noticed it'll autoplay in English for you. So even if the video is made in Spanish, you're hearing it in English anyhow, and they're fascinating videos. These guys are true historians of Panama and the zone, and they have some really, really cool stories there.
We should bring them on.
I've reached out to them. They've been really, really busy. They've politely declined, but you can always keep reaching out to get to somebody. If nothing else, it'd be cool to just have them send us something to put a segment out there to show a story of the week or something involving the zone, because these guys, they do some amazing research. I don't know where they get all their stuff from, but really, really well done how they lay it out there.
They do.
Panama Vieja Escuela it's a Spanish phrase of Panama Old School, right? And it's just nothing but history. So check them out. But their article on the causeway was really fascinating, which again explains that the causeway it served two purposes, but the real purpose when it comes to the Panama Canal was to keep it from getting washed out, because there's a massive current that goes through Panama Bay that was going right through that area. And so the causeway is a breakwater, just like they have on the Atlantic side, and it's designed to protect the canal. And at the same time, before the canal and Balboa and those ports were built, the what was considered the deep water port area for the Pacific was those islands. And so ships would anchor there, unload their cargo, and then of course they'd take the smaller ships or boats into Panama. And then when they, one of the agreements, as we learned from Dave, was that the Panama Railroad was supposed to go all the way out there, and they ended up paying a fine for not completing it because that was the deal. Anchor the ships out there, unload, put it on trains, and on that causeway, which instead became a beer drinking place for us. So, right?
Our little private little beach
Yeah,
bar
for
out
sure.
there,
So,
barbecue and all that stuff. Yeah.
but anyhow, so that's some cool flashbacks of the zone and whatnot.
That's what this show's all about, to talk about that. Exactly.
It is. So we're going to get into some Canals on Dictionary because there's some cool terms there. There's some funny terms there. But before we do that, of course, we always want to support those that support us. And this is somebody that has supported us, recently, and they're going to do this for the next, about 4 months now, because they've been doing it for a couple of months now. But they're the Howler Monkey Sauce, right? These guys are Zonians. They're up in Jacksonville right now. Conan Herring and Tommy Ellis. They have a great hot sauce. It's a Panama hot sauce through and through, all natural. You can see the bottle on the bar there next to Ricky. They have 4 flavors and stuff, and they've got some cool promoting here. Yeah, one of those hands. It's like the I'm with stupid thing, right? Remember the T-shirt? I know it is.
I switched that over, but I guess I didn't.
Yeah, it's I always forget to do that, and I don't know why they put it automatically to be backwards. I don't know what that makes sense, but anyhow, they're looking for a spokesperson for their Howler Monkey Sauce. So let's check out how that search is going on with those guys.
We're still looking for our Howler Monkey Hot Sauce spokesperson. Just got an email from Panama.
You've got mail.
Hey, I'm Mac, and I grew up behind Howard Air Force Base in Panama. I can talk about hot sauce. On pizza, uy, que rico. So I just miro la camera and say, I'm Mac. I grew up in these trees next to Howard Air Force Base. Hey, are we really going to Napoli? And let me tell you, the flavors of ají chombo, garlic, and onions, they each hit you one at a time, and it's so delicious. Howler Monkey Original brings the true taste ají chombo of Panama to your pizza game.
Do you know a Howler Monkey who can describe the sweet heat of our original with authentic ají chombo peppers, or the fresh punch of verde where habanero warmth meets crisp bell pepper? How about the bold tang of Amarillo, yellow Scotch bonnets blended with mustard seeds? And of course, our hot, the same great flavor as original, fired up with red habaneros for that fire. Our sauces are all natural, no preservatives, gluten-free, pure flavor and pure fire. Are you the next Howler Monkey spokesperson?
Excellent work.
Yeah, that's Canal's own media group, and it's amazing graphics on those. That's just 2 people, right? We met 2 people, 2 monkeys. We met Gamboa already, who was pushing which one? The Amarillo, which is the one you see there. That's my favorite. I love that one. I get that one all the time. You can get it at public supermarkets here in Florida. You can get it on Amazon. So holiday season, order yourself some hot sauce or send it to a Zonian friend that likes hot sauce, because it's awesome, man. It's a really, really good hot sauce. It's all natural. It's just really top notch, man. So,
and Mac, tell them why Mac. Mac stands for Mac Flights, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Mac Flights, Military Airlift Command. And those are the big planes you saw flying out of Howard all the time. The C-141s back in the day. Those remember the white ones with the high wing and the 4 engines. You'd see those taking off all the time.
Yeah, let's show hands. How many people want a Napoli's pizza now after seeing that commercial?
Yeah, how about that?
Oh my God! I mean, I saw that inside. I'm just like, salivating at my mouth, wanting to order that.
So interesting how that picture. I actually found a picture. Dave Smith actually posted a picture on Facebook when he was visiting Napoli's one time. And so I was able to throw it into the AI and said, remove this guy and add, this scene to it and whatever. And so now we ended up having Mac in there doing his thing.
Yeah, he looked good. I like the shirt, the T-shirt he was wearing too.
Yeah.
Panama beer.
That's it. That's Zonian there. So the next one that's coming out, and I'm almost done with it, is I'm not even giving away who this next monkey is, but he's pretty cool. He's a surfer. I'll just put it that way. Okay, we're in the dry season, which is surfing season in the zone in Panama.
Yeah, we have a couple of guys that we're talking.
We need to work on that, Ricky. I'm telling you, man, that'll be a fun show. That whole surfing in Panama.
The OGs.
There's a real Canal Zone surfing legacy that extends to the United States and to a famous brand. You know, it's what's it, Hang 10, right?
Hang 10. That's
Panamanian. That is a
Zonian.
Zonian. That is a Canal.
Zonian.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. So at least going to Naples tomorrow. Right on. Take a picture for us there, man. Very cool. That's awesome. You know.
And also, listen, if you're in Panama, guys, remember Naples delivers. So all you guys going down to Reunion, remember that. You're staying, you don't want to go out, just call Naples.
In fact, Ricky, weren't they just closed for renovations? Was that last month or is it right now?
I know we talked about it, but it's been a while.
I think they were closed for like 10 days or 2 weeks back in November, maybe. So maybe they're open. I'd like to see what it looks like then, you know. You know, I love the Howler Monkey. Yeah, they're really cool. Those guys are and they're, you know, Conan and Tommy are just awesome Zonians. Really, really great guys. Just so easy going and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they've
sponsoring us for 6 months. Is that 6 months?
Yeah, 6 months. And
awesome.
and listen, and their hot sauce was on Hot Ones. Hot Ones, if you're not familiar with it, it's a show on YouTube. Okay, that this guy it's a fascinating show. This guy sits there, you sit at a table across from a celebrity, and you have a row of 10 hot sauces from mild all the way till ridiculous, brutal stuff. Okay, Howler Monkey was on the mild side of things because, again, in my opinion, I like hot sauce to give you a little bit of heat and give you some great flavor.
Oh yeah, you want to enjoy your food, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Those
it's a little taste,
nuclear, the bomb, and all that. You know, okay, great. You have the hottest thing in the world, but you take one drop of that and you now stop tasting food for the next 3 days. So what's the point, right? But these guys were on there for a year, I think, or 2 seasons that they were on. You know, Jeff Goldblum said he loved their hot sauce. You know, it was really cool to see those videos, and these guys are talking about, you know, hot sauce that our friends have produced and put it out there. So it's been a cool story, and now hopefully with these videos, it'll, you know, help keep promoting them. It is the holiday season, guys. So again, go to Amazon.com, look up Howler Monkey sauce. You can't miss them. They have their own store there on Amazon, and get their sauces, man, because they're fantastic. They're very tasty, and you'll enjoy them, and you're giving some love to a fellow Zonian, so for sure. So. Good stuff there, guys. And yeah, I see that. You go. I'll send you. Cool. Yeah, I want to check it out and see what it looks like, man. That's awesome there. Okay, and then you're going to the yacht club. Yeah, of course, as you should. You definitely should be going to the yacht club. You know. So, all right. Well, listen. Let's do our Canal Zone dictionary because there's some fun things that we're gonna fool around with here with this one. Normally we do it with our friend HB Tui, but he's been away on set. HB Tui is currently working on 2 projects. He's actually filming a movie right now, and he's working on, I believe it's a telenovela, if I'm not mistaken. But the guy's busy, man. So, you know, again, we're fortunate to have him. Exactly. Plus the reunion, all the things he does there. So, but don't worry, he will be back. In the meantime, though, we're going to do our traditional Canal Zone dictionary. And remember what we're talking about here. I'll show you guys in just a moment here, but hang tight.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Balboa Yacht Club, this is Canal Zone Dictionary. The rules are simple. Define it or be defined. In the blue corner,
he's tougher than a Chiva bus ride in the rainy season. Sharper than Sosa Hill sawgrass. As a kid, he almost ran the length of El Prado. Ricky, the Capira Kid.
And in the red corner, faster than a PCC rotary phone, cooler than a Panama beer with no ice, set a record for 11 straight weeks of being sent to the principal's office at St. Mary's.
Willie, the goat of the goalpost, Benninghoff.
2 Zonians, 1 dictionary, no guessing. Well, I mean, you might want to guess. Anyway, only definitions and glory. Are you ready to hear Ricky and Willie say some amazing, magniloquent responses? And in some cases, just plain horse manure. Let's get ready for Canal Zone Dictionary.
it going to be
Right
magniloquent
on.
or is it going to be horse manure? Which one are you going to get today?
Yeah, rather cool word there, Willie.
It is. But anyway, I think, is it blurred out? Yeah, it's kind of blurred out. Sorry, guys. But this is Canal Zone. It's dictionary for Canal Zone and Panama Canal area. Okay, this is a dictionary. This one was printed in 2023 by Carl Berg and Pat Dempsey Probst. So I believe it originally was from the New Coakley Dictionary from 2019. So a lot of fun. It's a great dictionary. You know, it's, when I first saw it, I thought it was a joke. You know, it was one of those humor things, right? We got everybody's got the fun Panama sayings and everything. But as you started going through, you realize it actually was a legit dictionary and had a lot of terminology that was maybe unique to us or maybe different to us than what people normally use it for.
Yeah.
But
well, I got a good one to start off with, Willie.
yeah, you know,
You
so
ready? You guys
so
ready?
what we do here, real quick, guys, don't forget, you know, so Canal Zone Dictionary is Ricky and I are gonna throw questions at each other to see if we can define what that phrase is that he's throwing out, that Canal Zone phrase. You guys feel free to step in the audience and chime in as well. And you know, we'll do our best. We know that there's that lag, 8 or 10 seconds,
yeah.
you know, so we'll kind of banter it up a little bit and see, because you know, I could probably use some help from some of you guys here. I don't see HB in the crowd there, and he's usually the sharp Panama history guy that knows this stuff. But anyhow, let's see what you got there, Ricky. Go ahead.
All right,
man.
I got it. All right, starting out, you guys. 440. 440. What is that, Willie? 440.
Like the number 440.
Yeah, but it's 440. Like 4 and 40. Yeah.
440. That is not, well, I mean, there's an obvious one, but gosh, okay, so 440, and this is again Canal Zone Dictionary and Panama Canal area. So
this is a Zonian term, 440, very common in the Canal Zone, but more than likely like in the 50s and 60s. 440.
Yeah, see, I mean,
Anybody?
Okay, so
Yards
let's
around
see
the
here.
Marble Pack. That's a good one. That's the 440
Jim
yard
Duffus,
relays.
I like that. I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, in track and field, running the 440.
All right, guys,
Okay.
here it is. It's an inexpensive air conditioning system that the Zonians for Zonian cars, which consisted of 4 windows rolled down, traveling at a minimum 40 miles an hour.
There you go.
Yeah, a sensible door system that a sensible air conditioning system that everyone can afford.
Yeah.
So
No,
that's
I
what it
like,
was known in the
I like
Zonian.
420. See, now that answer, we would have probably had several people chimed in on that one. But not
Well, I
440.
guess back when the ACs first came out, people would say, "Oh, well, my car's got an AC," and the Zonians would say, "Yeah, well, we got a 440."
Yeah. Here's how we
got
do
the
that one.
legit AC. Yeah, right.
All
All right, I thought that was cool.
Okay, all right. So now let me give you mine. Sorry, I got
Like
my
420, yeah, almost. You have to do a 440 to do a 420.
right. Exactly. That's exactly it. That is exactly it. All right. So where is my Canal Zone?
You want to do the second one while you look for that? Or
Yeah.
ready?
Go ahead. Go ahead
All
and do
right.
yours.
This is one in the. I'm not gonna no clues. Fur de Lank, LANC. Fur, FER apostrophe.
Well, I think we know that one is. I know what that one is, so I'm not going to say anything.
LANC. Fur de Lank. Anybody? Fur de Lank. Fer de Lank. 3 words. Sounds French.
That's
You guys
funny.
ready? No, maybe.
Let's see what you got.
All right, it's a reptile. It's the most venomous snake
Yes, a Ferdinand.
in the Canal Zone. A pig viper, also called X. You guys want to know what the second and third most venomous snakes are down there?
Do tell.
All right, the second most venomous snake is called Barba Amarilla, yellow beard.
Okay.
And the reason why is because under its neck, it had some yellow markings. It's second most. And the third most called Terciopelo, which is a velvety texture. That's the reason why they call him Terciopelo, because of his velvety texture of his skin.
Okay.
These are and look at that. Bushmaster didn't even make the list, and we were all scared of Bushmaster.
Okay. And look, so so that's interesting. What so for the Lance, because of Lance, right? You know.
For the Lance. Oh, that's the New Orleans Saints.
Yes. Sort of. That's a little different, but
what is their emblem called? Further.
Florida something. Florida. I forget what it's. It's a similar term, but no, Fer-de-Lance is because it looks like a lance. The tip of it looks like a lance.
Yeah, rep that. Most venomous snake in Pampa. We all, growing up, I always thought it was the Bushmaster. Remember that?
Right.
We grew up scared of the Bushmaster.
I remember hearing that, I think it was Derek Reyes. I think got chased by a Fer-de-Lance, man. It wouldn't stop chasing him, and I think it finally got him, bit him a couple times, if I'm not mistaken.
No way.
I want to say it was him, yeah.
All right, well, you're up.
So, okay. So, the first one that I'm going to pull up, and honest to God, I don't know what the hell happened to my sheet there, but I had all of them on here. But I'm going to throw one out there, and this one we're gonna
Delhi. Fer de Lis.
For Lee, yes. That's the New Orleans Saints. You're right. That is a very famous that design or whatever. But anyhow, okay. So here's a word from the dictionary of the Canal Zone and Panama. Reach. R-E-A-C-H.
Like reach.
Like
right,
reach, but not like reach, but reach. What do you think that is?
Reach sounds to me like a real Latin American way of saying, "Hey, are you reach today?"
No, that's not it at all. Hold on.
Oh, you got a new job. You must be reach.
No. Let's see here. Okay, so and no surprise here that Jim Duffus is giving us the answer, because Jim worked on the Panama Canal. He worked in Gatun in the lock, so he's very familiar with the canal and the operation. And he says it's a channel in the canal. Absolutely, it's a channel in the canal. There are several reaches, and that's what I'm trying to find here. And this is really irritating me because I thought I had it here. But I'm going to show you the map on these. Okay, there was a couple of answer. You can try getting a passing grade in high. Yes, that was it too. I think with Mr. Wah, if you bought Mr. Wah a bottle of liquor, you get a passing grade there, if I'm not mistaken. But
that was our reach, and that's probably that was probably the answer from the teacher. Yes, that was our reach.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So no, reach is those. But I'm going to show you guys something interesting here. It talks about reach, so you understand what we're talking about when it comes to these channels in the canal. And we're going to go to Ricky's favorite here, which is our map here. Let me go ahead and
I love our maps.
Crop this thing out, because I actually learned a cool thing about how to work it, so that it's more how would you put it, more effective or whatever. So anyhow, so here's a reach. Okay, a reach is these channels in the canal here. And as you can see, we're going to start from Gatun and head southbound. Okay, and we're using the old canal locks here. Of course, here's the new one here, but we're going to go the old canal here. And I'm you know what? Actually, I'm going to tell you right now where they are, because I've got the dictionary here. Thank God I have the dictionary of the Canal Zone and the Panama Canal, because the first reach, it actually has a name to it, and I'm going to show you where it goes and how they figured all these out here. So reach was, here it is. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the first reach that we have then is leaving from the Gatun locks, and this one is called the Gatun Reach. Okay, and as you can see, it starts from the end of the locks here, and it goes to this area here, and it ends at this point here where they make a left. And what they use as the point to determine that are these islands here, which are called Islas Las Brujas. And so that's the Gatun Reach, is right there. From there, they of course turn here. This then becomes the Peña Blanca Reach, and it's a very short one here that goes to this area here called the Bohio Peninsula. It's a long peninsula jutting out. On the right side is an island here called Barro Colorado. We've all heard of that island. In fact, Nodier Garcia's mom worked there, which is why she always takes the Panama Railroad, which is why he's such a big fan of the Panama Railroad. Correct. But anyhow, so that's the Peña Blanca Reach. It's a very, a short one there. And then they make another quick left, and they have a very, very short one here, which is the Bohio Reach. Okay, goes right to here. Once they get to that eastern edge here, they make another turn. This is now the they call this one then the Buena Vista Reach. And this one will go out along that Barro Colorado island, And this is the area, as they start getting here, they start knocking it off. These are all reaches, they call these. This one here, I'm not sure how they call this one a reach because it kind of waves through there, but it gets you through the Gamboa area. And just as they get south of the Gamboa Bridge, and again, south because we're facing southbound, right? It's Atlantic to the Pacific here. That's where they enter the Culebra Cut, right? There's no reaches in there, which is kind of interesting. They don't call that a reach. That's strictly a channel there. I guess a reach is the longer areas in somewhat semi-open water.
That's the big ditch. Guys, that's what it looks like, doesn't it?
It really is.
It
really is, absolutely. And if you close in, this one doesn't have the perspective there. Actually, it seems like it does there, with a high ground and everything. Oh, that's kind of cool there, right?
That is awesome, man.
Okay, cool. So anyway, so you go through there, you finish this up, and then, of course, you get Pedro Miguel locks. Remember, this is the old locks. This is a new channel here, which this one set of locks took the place of the other ones there. But you go through Pedro Miguel, which is only one set. You go through Miraflores, and then here at the end of that, this is considered the other or the final reach, which goes out to the Balboa Harbor. And then, of course, you're out to the Pacific. So anyhow, so there you go, folks. That is a reach from the dictionary for the canal zone in Panama Canal area. Okay. So
that's good.
What is my next one? Okay, because you had two. I'm going to throw two out yet here, Ricky.
Yeah, go
this one, you've heard this term. Everybody's heard this term, but some of us aren't sure where exactly we're talking about here. Kind of like when you mentioned earlier, chitre. I've always, when I hear chitre, I just think all the way out towards toward David and Costa Rica. Well, Chitre is actually almost in the middle of the country, if you think about it, right? Because it's way down in the Azuero Peninsula out there, and to us, that was a long way off, but hell, you still had half the country to go all the way to Chiriquí and all that stuff. But I always kind of confuse those two, and this is similar here. So, Ricky, what is, or where is, and this is a two-part question, where is the Balboa Flats?
I think I know Balboa Flats.
The Balboa Flats, because we've heard the term. We all know the term.
Oh, wait. Balboa Flats has to be the Gavilan area.
The Gavilan area. So remember, guys, the Gavilan area was on the other side of, past the YMCA and all that stuff towards the back. And that was sandwiched by Balboa Road, I guess, and 4th of July Avenue and the bridge. Yes, the bridge, exactly. But no, that was not the Balboa Flats. And so now Chris is chiming in here. Was it La Boca? No, it wasn't La Boca. But interestingly enough, that's the second of the two-parters. So I'm going to give that as the two-parter to maybe give you guys a clue. But it was only one of two places, including La Boca, that had a complete redo. They tore the whole area down and rebuilt it again, as far as the housing and everything goes. Okay? So let's see here. The Flats is Gavilan area by the Bridge of the Americas. It's very close to that. The Flats is the area just off of Ancon Hill. Think of what Morgan Avenue, right? And what was Carr Street coming off of Balboa Elementary?
Yep.
And Barnaby Street. That triangle there, and then, of course, Balboa Road, that whole area, which ended up being the area that, for example, the DeLucas, the Malias, the Morrises, all those people lived there on Las Cruces Street. Remember? Remember the Hansons next to Balboa Elementary? You get the popsicles and stuff. Merla Hanson.
Right, yeah.
All that area was the Flats, but back in the day, they were the big bird cage houses, the big four-family old wooden places. They tore all of that down because if you look at the old pictures of the Canal Zone Balboa construction, that was one of the first places built. And it starts looking like Barnaby Street, but it was wooden. It wasn't concrete. And then they leveled all that and started building the smaller, duplex houses that you saw throughout that whole area there.
Yeah, because up in Morgan, the Reinhardts lived there. Up in Morgan Avenue, there were like the older wood houses, but they were huge.
Yes, that is correct.
Also lived up there.
And I should have pulled one up just, because I ran out of time, but in that area, you see the old pictures and you see they're they're like the houses you saw in Diablo when that first turn in that you went in right off of Section I to go to the ball right there. It was that type of housing. That whole area was like that. And then it wasn't, I think, until the 50s, the 40s or 50s that they just leveled that whole area and put up new housing.
All the new concrete houses. And then
yes,
the ones
correct.
on the tippity top were military.
Yes, correct. That is
On the tip
correct.
of the top.
Yes.
And they wrapped around there to Balboa Park, the upper level park, and into
Right.
Orchid Trail. Those were all military houses.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
that's
So that
good,
was
though, man.
the Balboa
Flats.
Flats. Now you know how that was. And they say that area was filled in from both Culebra Cut, the dig from there, and also the Balboa Harbor that they were digging out. They used a lot of that because obviously it was a close proximity. So, to build that whole land area there. So
Right.
yeah, that was cool, man.
Balboa
Yeah,
Flats.
Morgan Avenue was the best, man. That was cool. That was a cool little hill to ride down.
Yeah, this is a little off that, Willie. What is an up and down?
What is an up and down?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a stock market, of course, and nowadays Texacoin and crypto is up and down as well.
Texacoin, one of our sponsors. We forgot to mention them, Willie.
We'll mention them towards the end. No worries. But what is up and down?
Anybody up there? Up and down.
I mean, the seesaw, I guess. I don't know. That wasn't a thing in the.
Speaking of homes that they were building, these were the 2-story housing duplexes, like the ones on Owen Street, the one I grew up in, those concrete ones.
Oh, yeah.
They call those the up and down in the Canal Zone architectural lingo.
We had that in Los Rios. That's the house we lived in Los Rios, was one of those up and down duplex.
Yeah, up and down. That's what they were known. Those duplexes
Yeah.
are known as up and downs. Now you know an Canal Zone architectural term.
Pat thought it was a raspado,
All right,
you got to remember, guys, Ricky is always itching to get that answer out. So, you got 8 seconds. You actually have 8.5 seconds, and that's it. Forget about it, man. He's running,
Shucks, I'm acelerado, bro.
All right, so now my turn.
Go for it.
So this one, everyone I think is going to know the answer, but the real answer, just hear me out on this one, okay? Johnny Mazzetti, right? We're talking about Zonian meals and stuff. Everybody knows Johnny Mazzetti.
Oh, is that the meal? Oh, I was going to say it's the meal, but who is Johnny Mazzetti?
No. The question is, what was, in order to make what a true vintage Zonian would consider the real Johnny Mazzetti, what is the name of the sauce that you added to it?
It wasn't a red sauce. I know that because Elaine Peterson makes Johnny Massetti every time I go.
There's a couple of versions of it, but there was
like
one in
cheese.
particular.
It's almost like I would say, it's almost like what do you call those? Mac and cheese.
Okay, that's what you're thinking, like a yellow cheese type of thing.
Yellow cheese. That's
okay. That's what Ricky's thinking here. What kind of sauce? There was a name for one, and again, there may be some other variances of it here, but we got some throwing in there real quick. Some true, and again, if you love Johnny Mazzetti,
I
know
should
it.
have rushed it. Look, you got it right.
Yep, absolutely.
Sorry, guys, I won't rush it next time. I'll wait.
So it was Arturo sauce, absolutely. And in fact, we have
everybody got it right.
Yeah. So, what is Arturo sauce? You say? Well, here we have Aggie Gramlich, Zonian from Diablo, from the Gramlich family.
Mm-hmm.
She won a prize in one of the Zonian, get-togethers, there, a picnic or whatever. And there she is, big smiles because she's got herself a tray full of Arturo sauce. So if you're going to make Johnny Mazzetti, and there's a ton of recipes, and by the way, in the zone, it is referred to as Johnny Mazzetti, but everywhere else in the world, it's Johnny Marzetti. The zone has just dropped the R. Like, get the hell out of here with the R, right? It's just Johnny Mazzetti here. But if you really made it, you got to have the Arturo sauce. That's the one right there, So,
all right, now we know Arturo can do a legit Johnny Mazzetti.
Yes, absolutely. So there you go. It's that's what you needed for it.
I like that. All right, let's get serious now. Let's go with pronouns. All right. Anybody out there? Anybody know who Charles E. Magoon is? Because I grew up with the Magoon. He was older than me. He's probably some of these guys here his age. He's a cool Zonian, but that's not who we're talking about. We're talking about Charles E. Magoon.
Charles Magoon.
Magoon. Magoon.
Interesting. Not Johnny McGee. Shorty Slim's last song is a classic. John. Okay, right on. I'm gonna have to listen to that now. Okay. Shorty and Slim song.
All right, cool. Good to know. Charles E. Magoon. Going once.
Let's see, Charles, and what was he? His whole thing?
Very important man. All right, listen, let's just get into it because Very difficult. I don't think much of us know who Magoon was. Magoon was the second Canal Zone governor.
Okay.
From 1905 to 1906. And he was the last civilian governor. After him came Goethals. And then from there, they sent him to Cuba, where he became the second provisional governor of Cuba from 1906 to 1909. And that's who Charles Magoon. It's good to know that because he was our second governor. You guys know who the first governor was?
Parfit. Didn't they name a dessert after him? With yogurt and all that shit?
No, it wasn't Parfit. Actually, I don't even know who the first one. We need David for that one. But we know who the second one is. Charles E. Magoon, second governor of the Canal Zone, and the last of the civilian governors before the construction or during the construction.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Let me see. The first one, I think his name was like Buchanan. Now I think about it.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened to my list. I'm so irritated by this.
Parfait was probably the last. Yes, there it is.
I had Balboa Flats. I had that. What was the other one that I had? I'm so irritated because I had all those papers here, and
I know. I get to say, wait. You want me to go ahead and do a second
one?
Yeah,
go ahead and do one while I find
right.
the next one.
This is a good one.
It, man.
I think all you guys probably won't get this one. G.E. Dunks. What is G.E. Dunks? D-U-N-K-S. G-E. Like General Electric. G.E. Dunks.
G.E. Ducks.
Yeah. Dunks. Like dunk a basketball.
Interesting. And interesting what Pat just put up there on the screen, too, about,
Yeah, because it seemed like we did have a lot of, stuff in cans and cartons and stuff.
I would imagine so. I mean, so you don't
recall having too much organic anything at the commissary.
Right.
Everything seemed packaged.
Interesting.
So that's a good point.
Yeah, absolutely. It is.
All right. GE Dunks, guys. GE Dunks were created by the Canal Zone government, and they were like snack trucks, aka taco trucks. That the U.S. Navy actually operated the GE Dunks, and of course they went to all the job sites and taco truck, Canal Zone taco truck.
Okay, right on.
Davis. Yes, you're right. Davis is the first one.
Wow.
GE Dunks. And then, of course, now they become taco trucks. So the Zonians first coined it GE truck dunks. So we were onto this taco truck business before even it existed. Feeding our fellow workers. Dale, Willie, your turn.
Okay, you got to go one more because I think I found it, but I'm trying to pull these things up. It's just going super slow.
I think we all know this one. I don't even know why I wrote it down. I should have, but I got it. El Límite.
Ah, yes, we know that one.
You know what El Límite is? Anybody out there? Who knows what El Límite is? It almost sounds too easy, right? Let me give you a hint. It's not the street.
Oh, well, then my answer.
Most people think it's a street. It's not.
Yeah.
Anybody out there? I'm waiting.
What are we thinking here, guys? So El Límite, is it a deal at like El Machetazo? Or is it a store down on Central?
No.
Because that would be the other one I would think of.
All right, guys. It's a popular cantina in the iconic triangular building on Avenida A, which is right there by where Cárcel Modelo was, and 4th of July. The street El Límite was 4th of July.
Okay.
So it was this very popular cantina, which the older guys probably know of. And I bet you after that came El Rancho, because it's kind of in the same area.
Yeah, right on. I can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what El Límite was for the Zonians, a popular cantina in the iconic triangular building on Avenida A y 4 de Julio.
So El Rancho, and I keep hearing so I was too young to go there. That wasn't a place I went there. But so what was this, the full story? That was owned by a Zonian, is that correct?
I think part of it. I think it was because there was 3 bars there. There was one bar that all the Zonians went to, and Mr. Sadowski was running that. And then there was a bar next to it, which like the military guys went to it, but in that same structure. So there was like 2 bars there, Zonians and military guys, and we always got in fights. And then right on the back, I swear. Well, they always try to pick up our chicks, and you know how we Zonian boys are so jealous, right?
Of course.
And poor guys, they just wanted, girls.
Yeah, of course.
And then on the backside, there was another bar back there called the library. And that's where you can always find your uncles and the older generations.
Okay.
It was in the back, and it was kind of, but there was ample parking. It was right off the zone. A lot of Zonians loved going there. We always had live music there on, I think, Saturdays. It was one of those things after football. Actually, it was on Friday. After the football games, we would all go out to El Rancho, right?
Okay. Jim Duffus is mentioning there that Lou Womack's parents ran it. Had an abalone shell as well. Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Interesting.
I think it's still there, by the way. It's like a beer garden now.
Okay. Huh.
Well, that's what it's always been, a beer garden.
Okay. Let me see here because man, I this is just driving me nuts that I did all this show prep. I was thinking because I knew Ricky was under the weather. I was like, all right, well, just in the event that he's like, dude, I'm really sorry, man, but I am just in my deathbad here, man. I was like, all right, let me just.
I got
solo
the heater blasting and I am freezing here, man. So I've got the chills going on and
that's hilarious. Yeah, no, like I said, man, I had everything set up here and I had them written down. I even had talking points for them. Like I said, that whole, the flats, Balboa flats. I remembered that one. I remembered the Johnny Mazzetti one because I had the picture queued up. But gosh, I can't think of what the hell the other ones were, man. That's just so irritating. Oh, Reach was one. We did that one. Yeah. And those I remember because I had the graphics up for it. But otherwise, I don't know what the hell it was, man. But
right,
nonetheless,
I'll throw one out there that I just saw. All right, what is known as left-hand traffic in the Canal Zone?
Left-hand traffic in the zone.
Yeah. This is going to be interesting. You're going to like this one. Left-hand traffic.
Okay. Huh.
Well,
left-hand traffic in the zone. Well, I mean, now, is it one of those an obvious answer, or like it wouldn't be the one you think it is, kind of thing? Because I know there was a thing with that back in the day. I mean,
you're close. You're close. You're almost on the right track. Anybody out there?
Now, I'll tell you what, when you talk about left-hand traffic and all that stuff, two interesting things that come to mind when it comes to that for me. One was, I remember one time we did a lot of, traveling in campers and this, that, and the other. And one time my dad got a VW. My dad got a V. It's like I'm not talking here. Amazing, this guy. But it's like it was a VW bus. But he got it from somebody that had traveled from the UK and they ran out of money. And so they had to end up selling the car to go back home or something. So they sold it to my dad, but it was left-hand drive. And so you sat I guess it was right-hand drive actually, because you sat on the right seat, the stick shift was in the left hand and everything. But the other thing that I think of when it comes to what'd you call it? Left lane, what?
Left-hand traffic.
Left-hand traffic. I remember when I was down there working for Copa, right? So this is in the late 80s and whatnot. Traffic was already getting really bad in Panama. Mm-hmm. And there was some roads that they would switch traffic at certain times of the day.
Oh,
and it was Calle 50, which is a busy thoroughfare. It's like 3 lanes in each direction. And all of a sudden at 4:00 in the afternoon, it was all going one way. And I remember we're trying to get home and you're like hauling ass and you're driving all of a sudden. The next thing you come around a curve and now there's nothing but cars coming at you. You're like,
I remember that. I remember visiting Panama and it being like that. All right, left-hand traffic, guys, in the Canal Zone transitioned in April of 1943 to right-hand traffic. In other words, up to 1943 in the Canal Zone, you drove like the British did.
Correct.
On the left side. And then in 1943, they transitioned over to the right side. And it went without incident. No, the Zonians caught on quickly.
Switched like nothing.
Incident. Yeah.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that and talking about Panama Vieja Escuela, they had a thing the other day about that article. And one of the pictures they showed was right in front of the, right in between the Union Church and the clubhouse on Balboa Road. And they had
there.
Yes. Well,
they steal that in Balboa Road. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying is this was that picture from right before that. and you showed
gotcha,
cars, instead of going towards the Union Church on the right lane, they were. You would think you were like looking at something in England or whatever, right?
Oh, I got you. Or looking at a mirror.
Yes, because it was an old picture of before they had done the switch, and you're like, wait, that's weird because we grew up thinking of traffic's on the right side going towards the commissary, and
I got you.
So yeah, that's cool that it threw that out there. It's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, let me see. Where is mine here? I
Yours?
still can't find it, but I had the book open anyway, and so we're gonna go back to one here. We'll go back to a little over a month ago. It was Halloween. Okay, there's a place in Panama called Point Bruja. Okay, now we just did see that reach, footage in the Google Map, Google Earth, and we saw that Gatun reach, they pivoted or turned left at Islas Bruja.
Right.
And so there's a thing here called Point Brujas. Was that the same one? What is Point Brujas? Does anybody know?
That's too obvious to be that one. I would say is
Correct.
that one on the way to the beach.
Okay.
That one Campana, that one haunted house.
Oh, I remember that. That's not it, but I remember that house, man, because that was scary. If you came, you were coming home to the beach at night, you were scared.
Yeah, the stories. I heard a bunch of people have gone in there. A lot of Zonians went into that haunted house just to go check it out.
That's funny. Look at that. And he just threw the same thing in. Jim just threw a house on Campana. That is funny.
Is it it?
Yeah.
Are we right?
No, that is not it. That is not it. It's closer to home. I'll put it to you that way. Okay. Closer to home.
What was the word again?
Bruja Point or Point Bruja.
Point Bruja. All right, so it's not the haunted house. Let's see if there's let me see. Point Bruja. I don't want to get here and say it's my ex-girlfriend or something.
Yeah, because then people start chiming in. Which one?
Okay, I give.
Well, I'll give you a clue, guys. Mac, who you just heard from, he's seen Point Bruja.
All right. Oh, would it be where the gas tanks are?
Where the gas tanks are. That's across. Yeah. No. That's interesting. That's close, but no. But we're in the area. We're in that general vicinity. Is that the spot by over the causeway by Noriega's Littleville? Nope. Point Bruja is a small canal zone peninsula on the Pacific Ocean between Kobe Beach and the north and Venado Beach to the south. So somewhere, I guess, around maybe near where the leper colony in that area was, right?
I wonder if it's a surf spot because, every time you get a point, that's normally a surf spot.
Right. Yeah. So that's Point Brujas was that peninsula over by Kobe Beach. So obviously Max saw that when he was up there in the thing. Yeah, look, leaves the leper colony. Okay, there you go. In that general vicinity there, it looks like it was. So that was interesting. Let me see here. Okay, here's one. I'll throw one more out there since I just came across this one.
Yeah.
Piragua.
Piragua. Oh,
Piragua. Piragua.
Yeah, piragua. That's a fish? No, that's piranha.
Piranha, which I had two of those, I went with Eddie Short one time. The Chinese Gardens over there by Corunja Junior High. In the back, they used to sell tropical fish. And so we went there one day just looking around, and I'm like, what the hell are these? And they had piranhas. I was like, really? $3. So I bought two of them, man. And I bought them. They're like 3 inches long, Took them home. We had these big fish pools outside when I lived in Los Rios. And threw them in there, man. Those things got big, man. They got about 6-7 inches long, man. And they were nasty, man. I mean, they whatever you threw in there, they would rip it to shreds. I think they either got in a fight one time and one killed the other, or something else got to, because they came out one morning and one of them was floating and a big chunk of his head was gone. But it was just about the size of the other one's mouth. So I don't know, man, but it was interesting. But anyway, what is a piragua? That's not what this is. What is a piragua?
All right. I would have to say some kind of transportation vehicle.
Wow, Ricky, you are very close.
Chris,
there you go.
That
is
Chris
right.
got it. Yeah, no, I rather that Chris mentioned that. Yeah,
a native
John
dugout canoe.
John got
now
it
I gotta
too,
say, I gotta say,
John worked at the hydraulic press. That's why he knows.
there you go. Yes, he would definitely be familiar with those. I gotta say, just from the name though, I'm glad that we did instead. We, the Canal, and I didn't, but I'm glad that we did the Cayuca race and not the Piragua race, because I'm not sure that dugout canoe would have sounded as cool. It just wouldn't have the same ring to it. And hey, did you ever paddle the Piragua race?
Annual Piragua race. Yeah.
So no, I didn't do that one, but yeah, I didn't do the.
But
Cayuca.
I guess a Cayuca will be similar to a Piragua, right?
I guess I don't know if if these are maybe because the dugout canoes those I guess they did stay high in the water as well. They didn't have a keel or anything, did they?
The Cayucos?
Yeah.
No.
No, that's why they flipped over all the time if you didn't know what the hell you were doing.
Right.
Okay, interesting. I'd like that. That's one we have to look up and see what a piragua looks like. I'll have to get a picture of one there. But that is what a piragua is, guys. It's a dugout canoe. They're made to hold outboards much heavier. Okay. So you're definitely more stable than a Cayuco. If you put an engine on a Cayuco, that's gonna definitely flip and longer.
Yeah,
okay.
Cayucos were narrow.
Oh, okay. So those are the ones, John, that I'm assuming like I see pictures that my dad told me about it when they went, hunting down in the Darien and stuff. Maybe they got on those. And you see those really long boats and they got the motor on the back.
Oh, right. And you see them cruising down rivers and stuff.
Yes. I'll bet that's what that is. I'll bet that's it. Absolutely right. Okay, cool.
Yeah, good one. Good words. Okay. I mean, these are great. I love this. I love what we do, dictionary.
Yeah, this Canal's and again, Carl Berg, well done. Job well done on this Canal Zone dictionary, because there's a lot of really cool stuff in here. You just go through it and you start reading things. You're like, oh, I remember that is. Like here, this one, it's a cool read here. I mean, everybody's gonna know what this is, but remember a rhinoceros beetle? Do you remember the rhinoceros beetles?
No.
Those big black beetles that had the horn on the front of it.
Oh, yeah, that's what they call rhinoceros.
They would crawl up on your arm and stuff. They wouldn't do anything. They just walk up. Yeah, rhinoceros beetles.
They were black as black and
yes, and big, man. Yes, because I remember we had a beetle or a bug here one time on the back porch, and my wife's like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "Ain't nothing, man." You ever heard of a rhinoceros beetle? She goes, "No, what's that?" I was like, "Trust me, that's a beetle, man." That thing had weight to it when you held it up, man. You realize that's a big bug there, man. But yeah, that was a rhinoceros. That's the kind of stuff you find in this dictionary. I see he sells it at the reunion. I haven't seen it on Amazon. I wish he'd put it on Amazon because it's a great book. It's a lot of fun, but it's the dictionary for Canal Zone and Panama Canal area. And maybe one day we'll have Carl Berg on. I had the pleasure of meeting him at the reunion last year. I would love to have him on and chat about this book and how he came about doing it, because there's a lot of information here, guys. I mean, it's not like 3 or 4 pages, man. There's
100?
Not quite 100, but there is 80, 90 pages, give or take. Yeah, 8. The last one is. So what is the last word in there? What is the last one in there, Ricky?
I'll look it up.
It is a Panamanian. It's a Panamanian engineer and contractor. Also was administrator, chief engineer of the Panama Canal Commission from 96 to 99. Obviously, it's the letter Z. Who would that be, Ricky? Think of Panamanian names.
I'm looking at it, so I already know. I have a dictionary with me.
Okay. But his son played football against us. He played for Kiwanis. I believe he was either a quarterback or running back, but Zubieta was a great player.
Yeah. That'd be Alberto Aleman Zubieta. He's also partnering up with Howler Monkey's father to build that port out in Chiriquí.
Yes, that's right. That is correct. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. So anyway, so that's our Canal Zone dictionary, our dictionary of the canals and stuff. One other real quick thing that I want to just throw out there, because we like to celebrate some of our friends and their kid success. We had Warren Gibbs on and his kids, with their what is, I'm drawing a blank now. What do they fight there? It's not taekwondo. Jiu-jitsu. Yes. So anyway, someone that we've had on the show a couple of times here recently. And let me see where his pictures. I had it queued up here as well. I'm just really dropping the ball here on this, but George Call, right? Our rock and roll friend. Okay. Yes. Remember, he's been on the show a couple of times, actually. Great legacy here in the zone with all the success he's had there. But One of his videos that he put out with his band had a really cool story, cool video to it. And if you saw it, his son was the one doing the video. His name is Aiden Call. Okay. And so here's Aiden right here, as you can see him, good looking kid, having a lot of success. He works both on the front and the back end of the camera, right? He's doing his acting and stuff there. But then of course, doing producing, all that good stuff here. So here he is, as you can see in the background there, you can see like the Netflix logos and stuff like that. So George posted this thing and I was like, hey, cool. What's the story with your son, man? And I just want to throw out and mention something about it. And he's like, man, where do I start? He goes, he has so many irons in the fire. Voiceover work. He does voiceover work for some programming in Japan. He does English voiceover work for it. He does some house acting roles. He's working with Netflix. He's doing movie shorts. So really, really exciting career. This guy's kind of kicked off for himself. So that's Aiden Call. He's son of a Zonian here. And if you happen to catch him somewhere, give him a shout out or something. And if you see George online, give him a little congrats there, man, because that's kind of cool that his son's got
George back, because that guy, every time he's on our show, everybody comes and he's just so much fun.
He's an entertainer, man. He knows how to do it, and he's had a great life in the rock and roll world. We've had a couple of musicians on now, James Slater as well, and George had the good fortune of taking his rock and roll career, which started in Panama as a Zonian living down in the day, up to the States, and happened to run into somebody in armed forces. And this guy's like, man, you guys are awesome. Their whole getup was all, pro-military. They had a lot of the fatigues on and the camo and, flags and all this stuff. So this guy happened to look at that and go, these guys would be great for USO shows and stuff. And so
USO, right.
7 years they spent, or 8 years, just traveling around the world, including going back to the zone several times to perform for the military down there. So
look him up on YouTube. He's there.
ASKA. The name of his band is ASKA. Yeah.
And that stands for Atlantic Side Kicks Ass.
Yeah, I love that. That's
what
it
stands for. Yeah.
So, but congratulations to George and to his son Aiden. That's cool here. Look up Patacones. All right, let's look up Patacones in that book. Okay.
Oh, well, that's easy.
Let's see what we got here.
Now, Atlantic Siders, they always say ASKA. And now you guys know why they say ASKA.
Yep, that's right. It is. It's a term of endearment.
So all you Pacific Siders, we're going to say PASKA. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think it's the same.
Patacones. Let's see. Okay, it's not in here, Jim.
Well, I know what a patacón is.
Oh, there it is here. Hold on. No, it is here. It
has to be patacón. It can't be easy when it's that easy, right? Nothing is easy.
But it was. It was that easy. But I'll tell you what. They use a different term here a lot. It seems like in Latin America with it. But it is the green plantains, peeled, sliced, fried, and that's the difference. Okay, I love patacones. Okay, but what's the other dish that you make with the plantains?
Oh, I lived in Puerto Rico. You can make a lot of stuff with it.
But the plantains are the sweet ones, right? They call them plátanos a la tentación, right? And
those
that's
are
the sweet ones. Yes, and they're the ripe ones, and they're sweet. I hated those. I could not stand that taste.
I know.
But the green ones with the salt and butter. Oh. Now, what they do here in the States in a lot of these places, with mostly like the Puerto Rican and Cuban places, is they'll take the patacones, and like there's a Venezuelan place here, in fact, in Tampa, and they'll smash them up and they'll make a big giant one. It's called a tostón. And it is a bunch, but I mean, it's a beast,
and they stuff it.
Yes, it's fantastic,
they also make
man.
Bowls out of it, and they put soup in it.
Correct. Very versatile, man. Very versatile.
Yeah, they call it tostones. We call it patacones. Yes. They call it tostones. Yeah. Well,
Tosca,
we all had patacones on our maids, all cool.
That's a staple there, man. Yeah. Absolutely. With butter and salt. Oof, that's the bomb, man. That's the bomb. And unfortunately, the chips they sell here in the States, in the bag, it doesn't do it justice. It's kind of good, but it's a chip.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
But anyway, so that was our Canals on Dictionary, guys. That was kind of fun.
You guys enjoyed it. I surely as heck enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too.
Yeah, man. It was fun. It's always fun to do that. One of the things that we noticed, Canals on Dictionary.
On the beautiful Isthmus of
I remember that, you know, and it's just, you know, because it's mostly just, you know, some of the memories that we had from before, you know, but still, hey, you know what? That was a lot of fun. You know, again, this was a kind of an audible show we did, but we threw it together. Apologies for not having my paper together. As soon as we go off the air, I guarantee I'll be like, oh, here it is.
There it is.
And that'll be my
Always.
notes, right?
Yeah.
So, but still, it was a lot of fun. We enjoyed it. Don't forget, guys, next week, okay, Jesus Romero and Steve Tochterman are joining us. They wrote that book, Final Flight, Queen of Air, which is, again, all about the narco trafficking, you know, focused a lot on the aviation part about it, but still, it's all part of that same realm. And with everything going on in the news right now, it's going to be interesting to hear that story of what goes on there. Because, you know, just talking to Steve, you know, recently, you know, planning for this show, you know, he mentioned a couple of things that are really important and pertinent to understand as to what's going on here and you know, the purpose behind all that stuff, you know, not just what's going on now, but what's been happening for several years, you know, leading up to this, right? So it's not going to be a political show. We're not intended to be that way, but, you know, it's very informative. It's close to home, and it's a Zonian that wrote this. So anyway, the Chiva Bus just told me that it's time for Ricky to get us the hell out of here, man.
I love that Chiva Bus. Guys, thank you. Listen, all you guys that participated tonight, you guys make the show awesome. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys next week. And from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. We love you.
Amen. Love that idea, Pat. We'll definitely check it out. Have a great weekend, everybody. Cheers.